Finding great cool tone makeup that also works well for pale skin is hard enough, and then adding that layer of finding affordable cool tone makeup, it can be so difficult to not waste a ton of money trying things that may look cool tone but aren't necessarily. So that's why I'm gonna save you all the time and money of going through the trial and error that I have with ColourPop. I went ahead and made a ColourPop starter kit in here. So these are all the things, if you're looking for cool tone makeup, that I would buy from ColourPop. There really is a lot of gems here. I think ColourPop is a great affordable brand for cool tones. They have so many of my like absolute favorites. So without further ado, I really want to get into it. So let's go ahead and get started. So I do already have bronzer on, but I do have a blush that I really like. This is from ColourPop. It's their Birthday Suit Super Shock blush. This is one of their satin blushes. If you've never tried a Super Shock, they're a really interesting formula. They're almost a cream powder hybrid. So I really recommend using a kind of brush that can really get in there, something that's more dense, or you can use your fingers. But this is a beautiful, like cool toned, slightly shimmery pink. It's nice and sheer, so it's extra good for more fair skin, but it is buildable. I love that it has this cool tone shimmer. It doesn't look glittery at all and is a really beautiful formula. For my brush, I'm going to use this Persona one because it's nice and dense. I just like to work the brush into the product to make sure I get enough on there and that it's nice and even. And then I will brush it into my palm a little bit to make sure there's not too much. And then I think that stippling motions with this really works well. You could probably see it's the most beautiful like purple pink true cool tone blush. It's stunning. They actually have tons of different blushes now, a lot of them being like very pale pinks and pale purples. I will have to try more of them. In my opinion, this one is a classic. Next for highlight, I think they might still have this one. If not, I will land. These actually work really well with your fingers as well if you like to use your fingers for makeup. But even with that fan brush, it just gives you that like glossy glazed look. I think it goes so pretty with that blush. I think this was one of my first ColourPop products and I'm still loving it. For eyeshadows, ColourPop is like a goldmine for cool tone shadows at an affordable price, but also just cool tone shadows in general. They have so many options for great cool tones. This first one I would recommend if you're looking for a bigger palette to fill a bigger gap in your collection. Say you don't have a lot of shadows to begin with and you want everything in one place. The Stone Cold Fox palette is incredible. Open this up, you can tell it is very well used for me. So you get a pink row. This row I wouldn't say is necessarily cool toned, it's more of a neutral brown, but then you get these really nice like stone colored cool tones. You get true gray cool tones, more of these purpley cool tones, and then more of a deep purple cool tone. So there's such variety in here depending on the kind of like cool neutrals that you like. Everything is here. I love this pure white in here. The shimmers are great. All the mattes are good. You get a variety of shimmer formulas. Like you could just make so many looks out of this and it's so worth the money. I can't believe it's like so affordable. One of my favorite palettes of all time. If you want something more portable, I think that That's Taupe palette is another classic. This one isn't quite as like cool toned as the Stone Cold Fox. You still get more like these neutrally browns, but you get this like really pretty topper shade. You get this shimmery purple, and then it's just really workable. You can make it glam. You could just do that as a shadow liner. Like there's a lot of options in here as well, and all the formulas are beautiful. So depending on what you want to go for, these two are my favorite. Let's go ahead and apply some of these before I talk about the single eyeshadows. Starting in the Stone Cold Fox palette, I'm taking this shade, which is a really nice, just neutral transition shade. It's called Trip. It's only slightly darker than my skin tone. I always like to start with a shade like this, just to sort of add that crease definition and map out where the rest of our eyeshadow is going to go. Taking that same shade on a smaller brush, I also will run it on the lower lash line. Next, sticking with the same brush, I'm going to dip into this shade, which is more of a gray, called You Rock. This is a really interesting color in this palette. Definitely has like a very gray base to it, but I don't feel like it's too It doesn't wash me out too much. It's a really beautiful like brown gray. Also just adding that on the lower lash line. Isn't that such a pretty shade? I love it. Next, in this same row, I'm gonna go in with this shade here, which is called Boulder Type, which is a slightly more like purpley mid-tone taupe. And I'm gonna use this to start to build definition in the outer corner. So I'll be laid down all those nice transition shades. So this is gonna blend really seamlessly. ColourPop shadows in general, they blend beautifully and are really seamless. So not a big big issue there. Again, you know the drill, same shade on the lower lash line. I kind of build out the transition shades on my lower lid, the same that I do on the uppers. And the reason I layer so many shades is not just for the blendability, but it also creates a lot of definition and interest, and it just makes for a really cool look. I'm dipping back in and just building that a little bit more. I want it to be like a little smokier. Feeling kind of moody today. If you need help blending, go back into the first lightest transition shade. You could just go over the edges to make it even more seamless. Next, I love the shade. It's not a true matte white. It has a little bit of a silver shimmer in it. It is called Dreamful. I like this for the brow bone. We're also gonna pop a little bit on the inner corner, and then we will move on to the Super Shock single eyeshadows I have to mention, which there's a lot of them. All right, Super Shocks. I actually had more than this to start with, but some of them were from limited collections. So I narrowed it down to the ones that I know are still available. So let's start with the white shimmers that I have. First is Tassel, which is one of the Super Shock shadows. The Super Shocks come in a variety of finishes. This one is an ultra glitter, so it's gonna be a little bit more glittery. This is just your classic cool toned true white with a silver shimmer in it. It's a gorgeous shade for the lid to wear on its own. Just beautiful. If you're looking for something with a little bit more of a cool toned twist, this is very similar but actually pulls quite differently. This is Ice Dream, a Super Shock. It's also another ultra glitter, looks similar, but this one has a purple blue sort of reflect in it. Very similar like finish as the bottom one, but you can tell this one basically pulls more purple and this one is more of that like white angel dusty white color. It actually matches this highlight quite well. And then besides white, I have this one, which is a ultra glitter as well, called Frog. This is one of their most popular Super Shocks, and I understand why. This is a beautiful like muted pink, but it has cool tone shimmer in it, so it pulls as a nice gorgeous like baby pink with a little bit of like a cool tone shift. It's a little bit more like natural because it blends into your skin tone more than the whites, but still really pretty. And then this one is Birthday Wish, which is a Super Shock ultra glitter as well. This is more of like a taupey brown with a purple shift to it. So here's this one. It blends into my skin quite well, but as I'm turning my hand, you can see it has this like interesting purple, like purpley pink glow to it. Also one that looks a little bit more natural, but when you were to like turn your head, you get that reflect. I think I'm gonna go ahead and use my Tassel, which was just that true white that I swatched. And I like using these with my fingers. I just feel like they apply the best. Really nice to wear an eye primer with these, and I'm just gonna pat this all over the lid with these cool tone shadows. It's going to be so pretty. You don't really have to be too precise with these because they tend to transfer up on the lid anyway, and that's kind of like the look, is just like a very shimmery look. So that one is super pretty. I still want to add I think one shade on the outer corner. Let me pop back into this palette and use this shade Sediment to Be. It's a funny name, which is like this stone brown, more of a smooth metallic, and I'm just gonna pop that on the outer half. Ooh, so pretty. These tones are just everything. Once you have a Super Shock on, I would not recommend like using a brush because it can brush them away if it's not adhered to a primer strongly. And then there's tons of these mattes at the bottom that you could use as a shadow liner, which I love. You can tell I've used the heck out of this purple one here. I think I'm gonna go stick with this row I've been using and use this more like kind of smoky. It's more of like a neutral cool brown, has a really interesting tone to it. This brown truly is one of the most interesting toned browns that I have. Like, I don't even know how to describe it, but it isn't warm and it's not super cool either. It has this like almost greenish tone to it that works so well with cool tones. Next up, I love this product so much. This is the ColourPop Cream Gel Liner. This is the shade Calabasas, which is my, whoops, just broke it. I had it rolled up too far. Which is my favorite shade, which is just this ultra smooth metallic light pink. The way I like to use this is you can put it on the inner corner. I love it in the waterline and even right below. It gives you like this really glowy, ethereal look, almost like your eyes are like watery in a really pretty way, not like a red and irritated kind of way. But any cool tone that catches your eye in this formula, these are great. They're super long lasting and they do not come off of my waterline, so I love them. I'm gonna do this one a little bit on the upper lid, but we have a lot of shimmer going on. And then the waterline. So see the difference here? Isn't that really cool? It's like brightening, but it's not super obvious. Went ahead and did some mascara. Now on to lip products, which can be really hard to find cool tones with, and I feel like ColourPop does excel with a couple of these products. First, you've probably heard me mention Cool BFF. If you're looking for a nude everyday lip liner, you're similar skin tone to me, and you need a cool tone, this is unlike any other. It's like this cool stone purple. It's neutral, so it doesn't really pull pink or purple, so it goes with a lot of different things, and that's why it's my everyday. It's just so good. It's not warm. I've gone through so many of these. I love them. And then I have two more options. If you wanted something that's more of like a purpley pink, this one is called Oh Snap, which has this more like pinky nude hue to it. If you find yourself wearing more pink nudes, this could be a good option. I still love Cool BFF over everything, but I still do use this one as well if I want something more pink. Now, if you do want something a bit deeper, I like this one called Beeper. Ooh, that rhymed. This is like a mid-tone coolish brown. It's honestly like a deeper version of Cool BFF. It has this nice like purpley hue to it. It's beautiful. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm actually gonna use the shade Oh Snap today, which was that middle one, because our lip is a little more pink. And you've probably seen me wear a Cool BFF way too many times anyway. And then I love this lipstick from them. These are called their Luxe Cream lipsticks. This is the shade Still Crazy, which is a pink, but it's a really beautiful, like neutral, cool, like the perfect like Barbie mid-tone pink for fair skin. It's cool toned. These have a little bit of a vanilla scent. They feel so high-end though. The formula is so pigmented and creamy. Like, look at that. It's beautiful. This is gorgeous if I just want like a little bit more color on my lips, but it still seems quite natural. It's so beautiful, so I really recommend this one. It's the shade Still Crazy. Saying it another time. They might still have this formula. I will link something similar if I can't find it. It's their So Glassy lip gloss. I found this at Target. This is the shade Poppy. I like that ColourPop is available at Target now as well. This is such a beautiful gloss formula, and the shade is, again, the perfect like cool tone pink. It's definitely a lot lighter than the lipstick, but I really like these. If you can find it, it has a nice thickness to it, but it's not too sticky. I actually really like this smaller pointed applicator. If you have a smaller mouth like me, it's just like way easier to apply. Here is the finished look. It looks so good. Like, you could not tell this is ColourPop makeup. They are really unmatched with the prices and quality, and also the array of cool tones that you can get. So I hope you found some new products to try out the next time you're on their site or maybe at Target. If you have any other recommendations that you've tried yourself and you want to share with the cool tone community, go ahead and drop a comment below. I'd love to hear your recommendations, but love the look. So obsessed. ColourPop is amazing for cool tones. Thank you for watching. I'm gonna go ahead and put another one of my cool tone videos on the screen here so we can keep hanging out. So I will see you over in this one. Bye.